All right, this is Sherwood with Tool Rent. Today we're going to be talking about one of our trailer mounted pressure washers. Just the basic operations and features and functions. Not the most complicated machine, but you can do damage to it without really noticing it. It just happens if you leave it pressurized and stuff like that. But we're going to start from the beginning. At the front of the trailer, it's going to take a 2-inch ball. So you'll need a 2-inch ball in your truck. The whole unit itself with the trailer probably weighs 4,500 pounds. Let me see, before. 4,500 pounds. So you can haul it with like a F-150 or an F-250. It doesn't really have restrictions on what can haul it. The jack, when you would put this on a truck, it's one of the like airplane style is what we call it. I don't know if that's the technical name, but you'll pull out this pin right here and you'll flip it after it gets on the truck, right? So you pull this pin, it'll go to the side, and then you'll lock it again, right? So it won't go down on you. You got 2 safety chains. This one has a 4-way plug instead of a 7-way plug. 4-way plug. Okay, so now coming back to the unit itself, we've got a 3,000 PSI, 4.5 gallon per minute pressure washer. It does have a heating rig on it. If you notice here, it's got a gasoline tank right here, a diesel tank right here. The diesel is for the hot water, that's the heater. The diesel is what generates the energy for the heater. Gasoline runs the engine, right? We've got a 375 gallon tank on the back of this right here. And then a 100-foot reel of hose on just like a regular gun. We do have a surface cleaner that you'll see here in a second, but normal rentals, it just has one of the hoses right here. So if you'll come over here, we're gonna get the startup process. So you've got your throttle right here. Low is down here next to the turtle, high is up here next to the rabbit. We usually leave it pretty close to the rabbit. Your choke on this machine is right here. Even if you're starting this after it's hot, it seems to just like to be choked, right? But before you start it, one of the things that you can do damage that I was saying that you won't notice it is if you're starting it, it does wear to some of the O-rings and stuff like that if you're not squeezing the handle at the same time that you're starting the machine. So you'll squeeze the handle, right? You'll pull out the choke and then you'll start the machine. One second. There you go. That one probably didn't need so much choke. So anyway, it's on. I'm gonna turn it off so we can talk some more. We're gonna pretend that it's on. If it's on, to turn on the hot water heater, it's a simple touch of the button, right? The light will come on. It means it's heating. Here's where you control the temp. Also on this unit, you can run soap at the same time. So this thing that you see down here, this line, you stick into a soap bucket, and then you turn this to add the soap into the lines, right? So 2 things when you're adding soap into the lines. If you lose pressure, more than likely you're either out of soap, right? So this will be in a bucket and you'll run out of soap, and this will still be on and you'll lose pressure because it's just sucking air in through here, right? And then putting it into the system. So you can turn this off after you run the soap, and then it will regain pressure. Also, if you turn the machine off and it still has soap in the lines, it will cause the lines to build up and you'll lose pressure that way. So it almost makes sense, right? You're gonna be washing with soap and then you're gonna be rinsing with clean water. So you'll turn this knob off and then you'll run the machine for a while it's like getting all the soap out of the lines. That way you're not building up all the gunk and scale inside the lines themselves. Really is pretty a simple machine, right? That's pretty much all there is to it. You got a series of nozzles, different degrees that these things will spray at. This one says red. We don't rent it with a red one, a 0 degree. I think this is like a 15 degree. No, this is 5. Yeah, 15 and 40, right? A couple of the other ways that you can harm this machine is if it's running and you just set it down, right? So you're using the machine, you're washing what you got in front of you, right? Now you're finished washing it and you got to pull something else out, and you leave the machine running. It'll build pressure in here and it'll cycle water through this and it'll get so hot. The pump itself is not supposed to have hot water. All the hot water, what? Liquid cooled. It's liquid cooled, yeah. So all the hot water that's put into the lines is after the pump, right? So this goes and puts hot water through the line, and this piece will get super hot. So right, don't touch any of that. But this is not supposed to have hot water. So if you leave the pump running and you walk away to grab another machine and you bring it to you, like anything over 2 minutes time and you're gonna be causing damage to the machine. One of the telltale signs that you've got, if you'll come back here and check out this, it's got a system built in, this little plastic piece, right? If you keep pumping the water through and through and it's getting too hot or too great of pressure, it'll blow out this little like stop, and it'll start leaking out water here, and that does it so it doesn't overpressure the pump itself. And that's another way we can kind of tell if you did it right. When you bring the machine back, it will be leaking water. That would be like a service call and a damage fee if you were to leave it, right? So that's one of those unconscious ways of damaging one of these pressure washers, is just by leaving it on while you go and grab your machine or move something around or do something like that. So if you're leaving it for any amount of time at all, right, release all the pressure, turn it off, do all that fun stuff. That way you're not damaging anything in the machine. Different water connections? Are you talking about down here?
Yeah, and then where to hook up fresh water.
So you can hook fresh water in here. This is a standalone pressure washer right here. You could hook up a water hose, right? If this was on a skid or you had it somewhere at your house, not on a trailer, you could hook up water right here, cold water, right? And you would turn one of these ball valves into a different direction. It would be this ball valve right here. Right now it's facing towards the pump, and that means, or the tank, and that means it's drawing water from the tank. If I was to turn it here, that means it's drawing water from here. This is another way that you can lose pressure, right? Is you'll hook up a water hose or something like that, turn it off, and you'll have left this into drawing from the tank itself. This will run out of water super quick because this system runs, this will go in less than a minute's time, right? And you'll lose pressure. So that's one of the service calls that we'll get. So back, if it's facing back here is where it goes back to the tank. This one is just a shut-off valve and whatnot for the tank itself. Like that's how you close the water from that. We don't usually ever close that. There's no really reason for us to. We leave it empty. I guess you could close that if you left it full of water or something you didn't want to get in there. I don't know. We don't usually touch that, so don't touch it. Other than that, it's pretty simple. We got our hose reel stacked back here. Got a hand crank. It's got a lock, right? So when you're traveling, you lock it. There's little holes all along the outside of this that it locks in. If you can see this, right, when you pull it back, when you're using the machine, it's got to rest. The outside bar will rest right here, so that way it can free spool with you and you can travel with the hose. This is the surface cleaner that I told you we had. We have it strapped to the back here. This is 29 inches. You hook it up, your hose over here, and you just walk behind it kind of like a lawnmower, and it cleans the surface of your concrete. Let's see. Other than that, that's pretty much all the operation that you need on this, I believe. You've got a battery back here, I guess. If it dies on you and you can't get it to start, you could check the battery lead, see if it was corroded or whatnot. But being a rental unit coming from our fleet, we would be checking that out for you. Here's a water fuel separator, right? So if you have bad gas or diesel, you can check it out right there. There'll be water or gunk in here. So if it just dies on you, you could check that as well. I'm pretty sure that's all the features. Anything else you can think of?
Say something. Gotta speak. Sign off or something.
That's it. We're done.